What time is it?
"2025, a mutually exciting time to be at the movies with some really thoughtful and invigorating films from both major and independent studios. It was such a loaded year that I'll begin with 10 honorable mentions in no particular order that include Avatar: Fire and Ash, Sirat, The Mastermind, Hamnet, A Poet, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Blue Moon, Roofman, Wake Up Dead Man, and Highest to Lowest. Now for the main event. Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag is a tight 90-minute espionage thriller led by one of my favorite leads in Michael Fassbender. The runtime speaks for itself, but Soderbergh masterfully knows how to effectively and efficiently get his actors in and out of a scene without it ever feeling too heartless or in favor of just quick exposition. And despite it being a spy film, it operates as some sort of open rebellion against the genre, with limited action and genuine love being at the center of this. It ends on a note that'll make any optimist pump their fist in the air and grin. This was the last film I actually saw at AMC The Grove during my quarter in Los Angeles through school, and what a film to end on. Richard Linkletter's Nouvelle Vague. It's been hard to precisely pinpoint the trajectory of Linkletter's film subjects as of late, but his two newly released films feel like a natural response to Hollywood's endless supply and demand of biopics. Blue Moon being a quietly somber reflection on mistakes set entirely in a bar, and Nouvelle Vague being a sincere love letter to Godard and the French New Wave movement. Linkletter frames his story as a hangout type that also feels pretty revolutionary and always on the side of the art and the artist. It's the type of movie that made me want to write more, create more, and though I went in very hesitant, I felt extremely inspired. Noah Baumbach's J. Kelly. Another film that I walked into with quite a few reservations, but left really moved. Can only imagine the emotions on set for Clooney, The Sandman, and Baumbach. And though he's past his midlife crisis in here, it feels as if Jay Kelly is going through his first sense of self-discovery, as if before his presence is showcased to the audience, he's never even thought about anyone other than himself. And this lens allows it to borrow elements from some of my favorite films, like All That Jazz or 8.5. There's a line in there about all memories being movies that obviously moved me in a ton of ways, as Clooney allows himself to be really, really vulnerable in here in ways that I've never seen from him. But Noah Baumbach just knows how to do this thing. I really think this could have been clichéic, but it's entirely original. And also, Billy Crudup! Ari Aster's Eddington. Man, this feels like a huge can of worms to open in how overwhelming the subject matter and how dense this film is. And I'll try to be as brief as possible to talk about it. Just a preface, I'm not the biggest Ari Aster fan, but this one was on my radar all year just because of what it was about and the style that it was telling it in. And upon watching it, it is 100% his scariest and boldest film to date. The best part about tracking filmmakers throughout their career is when something like this does come around. It's clearly a passion project with so many motifs and styles from classic westerns like a Hawks or a Ford, clashing with the contemporary landscape in such a unique way. It's a wicked film and only has become more relevant since releasing only 6 months ago. This film could have felt like a gimmick or a cop-out or a parody of life at this time, and there are many scenes that do poke fun at a variety of personalities from this timeline, but it feels so calculated, more about the collective confusion and the answers we all chase to follow at this time than anything else. There's a new take on the duel late in this with Pedro Pascal and Joaquin Phoenix's character that completely absorbed me, backed by an impeccable use of Katy Perry's firework. And speaking of Phoenix, this is my favorite performance from him probably since The Master. It's an uncomfortable watch with the reception being as divisive as the moment, but this really worked all around for me. Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value. Like many others, I discovered Trier a few years back with the crowd favorite The Worst Person in the World, which really blew me away at the time. And Sentimental Value follows a previously acclaimed director, Gustav, who's played by a career best Stellan Skarsgård, and he stages a comeback with his next film. He offers the role to his daughter, Nora, who is played by a quietly sensational Renate Reinsva, but Nora turns it down as she has no interest in resolving any issues with her father and wants to move on completely. This causes Gustav to hire an up-and-comer, played by Elle Fanning, to fill the shoes. And from there, we got a lot of drama between these folks. Funny enough, there's a lot of similarities between this film and Jake Kelly, an ignorant male lead, their eldest daughter being the mass casualty of their success in the movies. While Jake Kelly desperately wants another take, another shot, another unobtainable opportunity to change his past, Gustav wants to rework it. He wants to direct it, and though it takes a lot of deep humbling, he wants to embark on this journey with his daughters. Trier has such a delicacy in how he writes and directs. Nothing ever feels blunt or in your face when the genres that he's working in tend to do so. He has also just a perfect visual use of a house in this film that really, really will amaze you. And a remarkable star-making performance from Inga Ibsdatter Lilias as Agnes, Renate Reinsva's sister in this film. Her role and the chemistry between these sisters will absolutely floor you. Art can heal if you allow it, and by the end of Sentimental Value, these characters move to the next step of allowing it to. Clint Bentley's Train Dreams is one of those films that while you're watching it, you just feel it in your bones. It follows Robert Grenier, a logger in the early 20th century, as he experiences love, loss, and change during the Second Industrial Revolution. This is one of my favorite eras of history for a multitude of reasons, but the main two being that men and women's roles were overlapping and the unfortunate change causing many of these laborers to be weeded out by the inventions of tomorrow. Bentley utilizes a lot of visual techniques commonly found in the works of Terrence Malick, and it places us in the eyes of an omniscient observer. The nature and community wash over you with ease while the steel and fire clash like a dry heaving nightmare at dusk. This film came at the right time for me. I just came off a massive cross-country train trip, which was coming off a month-long work binge with the Chicago International Film Fest, which was coming off the biggest milestone of my life in graduating college. This film paused my life to observe the beauty and pain of another's. Joel Edgerton and Felicity Jones have such a warming presence that I could have watched a 10-hour cut of this and been wired in. This film truly is poetry in motion, about finding meaning in the most unlikely ways. Ryan Coogler's Sinners. It's a firm reminder of why I do this at all, why I go to the movies, why I talk about them, and why I want to work within them for the rest of my life. Michael B. Jordan as troubled twins in the 30s, Delroy Lindo and Wunmi Masaku with the powerhouse support, and a hell of a debut for Miles Cadden. It contains one of the best sequences of the decade, and just when you think you know where it's going, Coogler pulls into 180 and says, "Nah, this is my roller coaster, this is where we're going." It's heartfelt and heartbreaking, alive and undead, past and present. It never settles on a genre because it never needs to. It's a rarity to see a blockbuster take so many swings, but Warner suddenly just became 1993 Frank Thomas all of a sudden. And seeing this opening weekend was a hoot. It felt like the most important place to be in the world, and if you hadn't seen it, you were missing out. And outside of Barbenheimer and a ton of sequels and remakes and prequels, when was the last time this happened? It's a film about fighting for what's yours, fighting against assimilation, and in doing so, Sinners became an immediate hit that'll be talked about for decades to come. Coogler did an amazing job making the theater experience a necessity for this with his breakdown of the different formats, and in doing so, he created one of this year's best hits. Josh Safdie's Marty Supreme is still pretty fresh on the mind, but it feels like the ultimate evolution of what he and Benny were doing with Uncut Gems and Good Time. This is the grandest scale that we've seen from either of the Safdies, and Chalamet is obviously the biggest movie star working today, but what he does in here is otherworldly. His commitment on and off the screen for this film is admirable for the medium and has garnered a conversation about this film that really would not have happened if anyone else had been casted in it. Marty as a character feels a calling to be great, specifically to be the greatest table tennis player in the world. His character is selfish, arrogant, unlikable, and a con, but Chalamet is so charming and delivers these monologues about chasing greatness that you can't help but cheer for the guy. It's wide, it's sprawling, it's unafraid and unapologetic, and in a twisted way, one of the most moving coming-of-age films to release in a long, long time. As someone that wants to pursue a career like screenwriting, it is inspiring to see someone so committed to their dream, even if he isn't the best role model to follow. This film will definitely be interpreted in a lot of different ways in the years to follow, but to me, this is without a doubt the most moving work from Josh Safdie. I believe the third act is electrifying and sensational, with an ending shot that is a defining moment of 2020 cinema. Paul Thomas Anderson's one battle after another. It's been a while since PTA has created a contemporary piece, and he really has not lost a step in this. He gets a big budget, VistaVision, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and with it creates a masterpiece about a washed-up revolutionary who will do anything to save his daughter. Where this film really exceeds, though, is in displaying the light over the dark. It could have taken multiple bleak routes, but the narrative focuses on the sense of community, whether it be the Sensei's Web in Barrington Cross or the French 75. Sean Penn delivers an all-time performance. Benicio is a guy I want to grab a drink and play skee ball with, and Leo is really awesome in this as an erratic and stoned dad. But the heart of this is in Chase Infinity, Regina Hall, and though brief, the all-powerful Tiana Taylor. Such a limited screen time, but delivers so much complexity within it that stays on your mind throughout. Contains an insane midpoint and one of the best chase sequences put to film. Given the time of release and how every day seems to be a rush of nonsensical evil from our elected officials about labels and what it means to be a pure-blooded American, it's refreshing to see a major Hollywood release from one of the great auteurs say, no, this is really how it feels to be living in this country right now. It's a monolithic movie, and as always, I'm excited to see where PTA goes from here. Kleber Mendonça Filos, The Secret Agent. I haven't seen a film commit to this kind of pacing since I watched Friedkin's Sorcerer for the first time. This film follows a radical technology specialist who returns to Recife in the hopes of finding peace and safety with his son, but the corrupt leadership and dangerous hitmen get in the way of Marcelo's plan. This is a film that demands your patience. It prioritizes the characters, the routes, the routines, and the relationships more than anything else. It takes about an hour or so to fully realize the direction the story is going in, but by then you're already invested in each and every character that you will ride with them no matter what. Specifically in the lead, who is portrayed by Wagner Moura, who is sensational in my pick for the Best Actor award this year. He absorbs this person and you feel every complex emotion he has. There's also another piece of this film that's set in the present day with two researchers looking back at the story that they're telling, and it's a deeply emotional catharsis about the passing of time and place. What struck me most about this film was how dead set it was on allowing the viewer to get comfortable, to live in this community. This is such a culturally rich and dense film that's proud to be in Brazil and operates as a stroll in a park on a Saturday morning before caving into the paranoia expected in a thriller of this magnitude. Any other film would highlight the doom and gloom under this dictatorship and grueling capitalism, but The Secret Agent sets out to remind us that this was a real time. People really existed at this moment in time. This does feel like a pretty necessary dig at true crime podcast and media that tends to sensationalize the violence depicted rather than the victims involved. The common theme I found myself gravitating towards this year, and it's definitely a word I've said way too much in this video, and that's in community. I think more so than ever, the community I surrounded myself with this year really made me just feel like seen and heard. And while so much about this world and this medium feels in jeopardy, me and you guys will always have our own communities to pull us through. That has been my top 10 films of 2025. Happy New Year, go Bears, and keep watching movies.
Viva la revolution!